Hey, what's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to Computer Games Hardware. Guys, it's been a massive year, and we just got done doing our last CGHW news for the year. But there was a couple of really big news items that I wanted to tackle in a standalone video because I think it's really important to highlight. And that is leaks. Latest leaks are obviously the Insomniac's. Massive hack and data breach where there was a ton of information that has just been released. The group that hacked Insomniac threatened them with releasing the footage if they didn't pay up to $2 million, I believe, and unfortunately that information has been leaked, and there is a plethora of stuff that's been released into the wild, including information about the yet to be released Marvel's Wolverine game. There is storyboards, there's video footage, there's gameplay footage. There is like DLC plans, there is story information. It is comprehensive. So really sad to see that that's happened. I'm not going to link to any of that information. Some of the things I do want to talk about is some of the feedback that Sony had in the leak. So I've taken a look at them, and there's lots to break down. This one's just a little bit off the cuff, so excuse me. I just really wanted to highlight these issues. So massive breach for Insomniac and Marvel's Wolverine. But there's been a whole bunch of these throughout the year. So we had Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. So lots of stuff came out, lots of stuff was leaked from that, and some of those things were own goals where people at Sony didn't black out the text well enough before it was sent in, and emails from Phil Spencer and all those executives really gave us some insight into how the video game industry works, what they thought of titles that were going to buy. There was a big one with Microsoft undervaluating Larian Studios and Baldur's Gate 3. There were obviously the GTA 6 rumors, which everyone lost their mind over. So it's been a really bad year for these kind of leaks. It's pretty easy to understand why. We're at a point where the video game industry is as big as the movie and music industry. So, that's part of the reason why this thing is happening. People have an appetite for it. I think that we spoke about previously, the way developers want to market games. If things are kept on the down low a little bit, I think this wouldn't happen so much, but we're getting previews to trailers to announcements. So we've got announcements to the announcements of the preview trailer and stuff like that. So these things start coming out years and years and years in advance. Just look at the GTA 6 trailer that was released earlier this month. That game's not coming out for until 2025, and the leaks were almost a year and a half before that. So all that alpha footage and things that was leaked online, it's just really detrimental. Now, if you ask me, is this going to have a significant impact on the sales of Marvel's Wolverine, or is it going to impact Sony in a meaningful way? Probably not, but it affects people. It's going to affect the people that have worked hard on these. So it will reflect on the developers. Insomniac will probably have a really hard time dealing with this. And, who knows how it happened. This might be an unfortunate mistake from a developer that left something open or was susceptible to a attack somewhere, and that will weigh heavy on those individuals, those teams, and will cast some doubt on release schedules and things like that for the game's developed, they have released a whole ton of content relating to Marvel's Wolverine. There's even a full build of the game that is playable. Um, and you need a dev kit, a PS5 dev kit to play it. But, now that it's out in the open, someone will probably be able to bypass that somehow. It's not me. Don't ask me how. I don't know, but I'm assuming that now that it's out there, people will already be at work on doing those things. So that's just bad news for everyone. People are going to be playing an alpha version of a game that's not set to be released for another couple of years, and it's just really a bad time. How did we get here? A couple of things I did want to talk about that came from the leaks is uh, Sony's projected Steam sales for their PlayStation titles. So interesting that they're really concerned about those things. They've got a graph with the Steam sales for all the titles that they've released, such as Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Days Gone, Spider-Man Remastered, Uncharted, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Sackboy, and with varying degrees of success, with Horizon being the highest seller at 3.3 million copies, which is really interesting to see. So, and Sony have pointed out that Horizons had longer of a sales window, which is reflecting this high sales. I think they're undercutting their developers there a little bit. I think that that's probably the best game out of the bunch as well. So Sony, if you're if you're worried about the time space between your game sales, I don't think that's the issue. I think it's the quality of the games that's also being reflected in the Steam sale. And if you leave it too long, everyone's gonna buy it on PlayStation anyway. So I don't think you're losing out. I think that's the cream of the crop there. But it was interesting to see. Another little juicy bit that I found interesting: Insomniac, in their development slides and information surrounding Marvel's Wolverine, is that they've stated they are aiming for a Game of the Year win. So that's part of the intent of their development. So I found that super interesting. So they're actually aiming for a Game of the Year win, which is really interesting to see. That's what they're communicating. That's what they're working towards. And I seriously hope that none of these leaks hamper that in any way, because if it's a good game and it lives up to its expectations, it deserves that. Another really interesting bit of information that came out of the Insomniac leaks is uh, PlayStation's and Sony's uh, risk projections on the gaming industry, where they firmly believe that now that the Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard has gone through, that Microsoft will leapfrog them. They specifically mention Microsoft competing in the mobile space. They're talking about Battle.net and the PC storefront, saying that Sony probably had some plans to have a PC storefront, but now that will be leapfrogged with Microsoft, acquisition of Blizzard and Battle.net. They're also calling out Call of Duty as being a massive threat, with those titles being available on Game Pass. So that's going to be a huge issue for them, because more people can access those games, where, previously, and we've spoken about it a couple of times on Computer Games Hardware, that there are millions of PS5 players who only play Call of Duty. So that's the one title they purchase for the year, and that's them in. So that jeopardizes a really stable stronghold in their market there. So lots to be concerned about for Sony. So they're also talking about day and date release threats. So Microsoft now has the power to release things on Game Pass on day one, and have customers having that exclusive content when you know PlayStation, Sony, sorry, is a little bit behind on those sort of tactics. So uh, Sony, you make the best single player titles in the business. Just make them more accessible. So it's really interesting to see, notwithstanding the FTC stuff, the risk appetite that Sony has for the gaming industry in 2024 and beyond. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you very much for watching. I'll keep making these if you keep watching them, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.